All right, everybody. We got some good news to talk about today. That's right. The Seattle Seahawks. It was a little bit of a bumpy ride. It was a little bit of a difficult first half for us to get through, but when they got it together at the end of that game, when they put the pieces together in that fourth quarter, we saw something that could be fairly special this year. I'm not going to go over the top with it. I'm not going to go crazy with it. It's one game, just like last week was one game. But what you saw out there today was I think, pretty firm indication that this team can still be good in 2025. So big shout out to the group for coming together at halftime and after really an uninspiring first half where the team made a lot of mistakes, couldn't get out of their own way, and somehow managed to turn a more than 2-1 yard advantage into a 7-point halftime deficit. For them to go out there and take care of business the way they did against a Steelers team that will probably be pretty decent this year, that means something to me. That means a lot to me, honestly. I looked at that first half and I was like, this is kind of what I was expecting. Low energy, a lot of mistakes, playing on the road, cross country, early in the morning for us, 10 a.m. start. Like, I got it. I totally got that first half, as much as I didn't like seeing it. But for them to come together like that, by the way, I am watching the end of the Giants-Cowboys game out of the corner of my eye here, so I am monitoring what's going on there. I know that's been a very, very crazy game, and a lot of people, I'm probably not the only Seahawks fan keeping an eye on that one, just for entertainment value, but seriously, guys, that was a great win, and I'm excited to get to talk about it all week. So please like this video. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications, become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. I want to start with, I'm going to start with the big thing I'm going to take away from at the end of this game. And it's not the thing that I think was the best part of this team today, but it is the thing that I think was most important for me to see. It was Sam Darnold. And I know he didn't play a perfect game. By no stretch of the imagination would I ever say that he played a perfect game today. But I go back to some of those plays on third down. He had many really good plays on third down in this game. Even the ones where he didn't convert, he set up either an easier field goal or an easier fourth down conversion. And in one case, that actually played to his detriment because he had a terrible play on a 4th and short. But what Darnold did today in some disadvantageous third down situations, I think, was really meaningful. This team found itself in 3rd and long quite a few times in this game, and Darnold came through a lot, either to set up the conversion on 4th or to just straight up convert it. And that is not a game manager. That is not something you would ask a quarterback to do if the quarterback can only manage the game. That is something that the quarterback does if the quarterback is actually a playmaker for you. And today, Darnold was a playmaker. Today, Darnold made a high degree of difficulty throws into tight windows against coverage that knew the pass was coming, and over again, he converted. So right now, and this is obviously subject to change as the season goes on, that's the number one thing I'm coming away from with this game. Darnold was put in terrible situations today for a lot of that game, and he punched the ticket over and over again. And to me, that means more than even the 2 interceptions. Before I go any further into this, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. Have you heard about the Sleeper app? It is the best way to experience and connect over sports together with other users. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Go download the app now. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with others. You can get the fastest scores, news, and alerts, all that right at your fingertips. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So you can enjoy sports the way they were meant to be, together. Download the #1 sports app today. And when you go, use promo code SBN, that is SBN, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So check out Sleeper today. Don't forget promo code SBN. And don't get me wrong, the interceptions are bad. Both the interceptions, like very, very goofy stuff. The first one was just a really bad decision. He locked on to his number one read, decided he was going to throw it even if the guy wasn't open. That's the goofy stuff. But I can live with that if he's going to make those big plays on third down. So on a day like today, where I know that some people are going to be a little bit more lukewarm on him than I am, that's the thing that I really want to expound on. Those third down throws were big time. That was the kind of stuff that we needed to win this game, because the running game, while it ended up being nominally good, and I do want to give big ups to K9 because they were throwing dirt on him last week after that game. For him to play that game was huge. He was great. He was awesome. The run game was not reliable in the slightest today. K9 made some really nice carries in this game, but for most of that game, there was no ability to count on it to go get 4 or 5 yards every time you got the ball. It was no gain, 1 yard gain, 1 yard loss. 15-yard run. It was a lot of 2 yards. It was a lot of 3 yards. It was a lot of no yards. And then, 20-yard gain. It was very, very unreliable, especially with Charbonnet, who it was just not there for them. And one thing I'll say about that, we got to stop giving those outside zone runs, those pitch plays, those long developing plays to Charbonnet. He's too slow. And I thought that would be common sense. I thought that was obvious. I thought that we all understood that. But for some reason, over and over again today, Charbonnet was getting the ball on outside runs. That's not his game. That's not how he's going to look good for us. And that's why we got what we got. So I need to be seeing Walker get those carries because he's got the speed to get to the outside for it. So that was one of my hangups today. That was one thing that stood out to me as something that needs to be fixed. But the point I'm trying to make there is there was not some dominant running game that Darnold could lean on today, and he still came through. I will remember that at the end of the season. If and when we have conversations on whether or not Darnold is the guy, I don't know if I'm going to think he's the guy or not, but a day like today makes me think it's possible. And that's all you can ask for. Other than that, spread the ball around. JSN, Cooper Kupp both had monster games. And while nobody else had a big game, big impacts from Torrey Horton, Elijah Arroyo, and A.J. Barner. So I can't ask for too much more than that. In a game where you still want to be running the ball a lot, you're not going to have 4 different players catch 8 passes or anything like that. That's just not going to happen. So Horton, first career touchdown, really nice impact today. Arroyo with the beautiful, love to see it, bootleg PA, tight end in the flat catch. Absolutely love that stuff. And then A.J. Barner catching the touchdown and also converting the big third down near the end. I know the stats are not big for Barner, but to me, he was one of our most crucial players in who came up big in big moments. So shout out to AJ. Really like what he's bringing to the table. Really like what he's doing. Still some stuff to work on. I still don't know why this passing attack is so hesitant to go to the tight ends when it was supposed to be a tight end heavy offense. 4 catches for the tight ends in a 60-minute game with 33 passing attempts is not great. I think that the offensive line had some hiccups today. It wasn't bad, but I still think the interior run blocking is a little bit of a mess. I still think there's a lot of work that needs to be done there for them to get to where they need to be. But it was a good game. Defensively, okay, I 65-yard catch by Jaylen Warren. That was really the only thing the Steelers did the entire second half. Other than that, that second half, there wasn't really much that the Steelers could do. That whole second half, we shut them down. We got good pressure on Rodgers, although he did escape from it on occasion. I did think there was definitely some issues there. Excuse me. A little bit dehydrated after that one. You get excited when you see your team win a game you weren't sure if they could. But couple of turnovers. I know the Darion Kendrick one was kind of a fluke, but still turnover. And of course, the kickoff, which I'll get to the kickoff thing at the end of the video. But we didn't let them run on us. Pittsburgh had very little success running the ball overall. The biggest problem we had was letting Aaron Rodgers escape the pocket and letting him escape the pressure. I felt like there was a decent amount of him being able to squirt free, which is really annoying because what are we talking about here? We're talking about a 41-year-old quarterback. It's one thing when it's Brock Purdy. It's another thing when it's Aaron Rodgers doing it at 41. So that would be about the worst thing I can say. We still got to him a lot. We still hit him a lot. We still made him uncomfortable. Shout out to Derek Hall in particular, because he's not going to get his flowers after a game like that because he didn't get the sacks. But I thought that Derek Hall played a really good game, and I'm somebody that isn't really sure what to think about him most of the time. Byron Murphy, though. Byron Murphy, incredible game. He's still doing a lot of this from nose tackle. Imagine what this guy would be at 3-tech right now. Absolutely unstoppable. Absolutely killer stuff from Byron Murphy II. And I am really, really enthused about where his career is going at the moment. And I'm hoping that at some point he gets a chance to just unleash as a 3-tech pass rusher, because he will be really, really hard to deal with. And on a day like today where we needed it, because, ooh, excuse me. On a day like today where the edge was limited success, you didn't see much from Nwosu, didn't see much from Mafe, didn't see much from DeMarcus Lawrence. We needed the interior pressure, and we got it big time from Reed, Williams, and Murphy. So awesome stuff in the middle there. Really liked what's going on there. Better game from Tyrese Knight. I thought Knight was a lot better than last week, which you would expect. He was not healthy last week. So loving what I see there. DK wasn't allowed to kill us, and nobody else was allowed to get us in his absence. It's not like DK was sucking up triple teams and there was nothing, and Pittsburgh was able to spam it to Calvin Austin underneath the whole game. No, they couldn't really get anything going. There was really nothing that they could do about it. So really, really effective on that side. Woolen, definitely better. Not going to say perfect. We did start off with a pretty bad penalty, but better. Big improvement there. Kobe Bryant kind of got mossed in that first half on, I believe it was either the touchdown or the 2-point conversion, but he made up for it later. Thought he played a better game. Julian Love, still like what he's doing a lot. It's Job. I thought Job was fantastic. He's got a massive height disadvantage in most of these matchups right now. He is not somebody who can physically match up with DK Metcalf, but he is holding his own out there in a way that I think deserves tremendous props. I think we got to give massive kudos to Josh Jobe for what he's done these first 2 weeks. And that's really about it, guys. That was just a good game by the defense. Again, the 65-yard play bites, but even with that play, what are you talking about? 260, 270 total yards of offense, approximately. Very little. And 17 points, with some of those points getting set up on short fields. You can't ask for much more on the road. You can't ask for much more in a game where you're missing one of your best players in Devin Witherspoon, by the way. Don't forget that. No Devin Witherspoon, no Nick Emenwari, and we missed both. There were moments in this game where I found myself thinking, sure would have been nice to have Witherspoon, sure would have been nice to have Emenwari on those plays. And we still came up big. Now, the special teams thing, they gave us a gift. They did. A shout out to Pittsburgh. Shout out to Caleb Johnson for not knowing the rules to football. You gave us a gift. I'm not going to say otherwise. That was not, I mean, Halani made an amazing play. I'm not going to take it away from Halani. But at the same time, it's like, I understand that opportunity should never be there. Now, theoretically, we win the game anyway. I don't know if it plays out exactly like that in reality. But, I mean, we did win by 2 scores, so I'm not going to sit here and make too big a deal out of that one, but I will admit that was a gift. But shout out to Halani for knowing what's up, because it's felt like he was one of the few players that did. Felt like a lot of players on the field at that moment did not know that ball was live, and he did. I could have been wrong, but it sure felt like there were a lot of Steelers and a lot of Seahawks that thought the play was over. So love that. Helps make up for our own special teams mistake with the, by the way, the field goal was partially blocked. I know people are going to be asking about that. But yeah, I'm happy, guys. It was an up and down game. It was a weird first half, frustrating first half, but for them to come out and basically more or less, I'd say, dominate the entire second half. Maybe that speaks to that thing that we talk about, where the Seahawks are going to come out slow in these 10 a.m. starts, but by the second half, they've warmed up a little bit. It's starting to move towards midday for them. That was probably a part of this too. All right, so once again, schedule for the rest of the day. I'm going to get this video uploaded. It's going to take a little bit, and then I'm going to be going live tonight to talk about the game some more on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And then tomorrow we're going to have a video going live on Bleacher Report, and we're going to have a video going live on YouTube talking about the game. I'm not sure exactly what the videos are going to be about yet, but you will know when you see. So keep an eye on both. Shout out to everybody who was there in the Bleacher Report stream today, by the way. The stream seemed to have no problems today. I don't think it cut out. I don't think it started looping. I think everything was good over there. So great stuff coming over there as well. Do not forget my Bleacher Report content this year. And I think that's really all we got to cover, man. That was just a good game. And I'll say it again. I know Walker was probably our best player today. I know that Walker is probably the MVP. I know that JSN and Cooper Kupp are in play for that as well. But the number one thing I'm taking away from today, Sam Darnold came up big on third down. And to me, that's worth more than the interceptions. To me, that's worth more than some of the mistakes. That was a playmaker game today. That was a game where he had to do something special to win it, and he did it. All right, let's enjoy these late games. Let's enjoy the Mariners game, hopefully, and see you guys soon. Go Hawks, 1-1.